channel. We in with another quick one today, but another banger. Check it out. Look, so today's video we're gonna learn about. As you can tell by the title, this. What the fuck is that? Hold on. The hell is that? I mean, worry about it. It's like a bug. I think it's on the outside. Anyway, all right. I think I'm back. You keep acting up. Anyway, this is gonna be about the spiritual meaning of the air element. So right off the bat, let's get into it. Let's get it quick. The air element deals with what? Deals with the thinking, analyzing. The air element esoterically deals with, like I said, thinking, analyzing, making sense out of something mentally constructing something. You see what I'm saying? The ability to have thought. So your thoughts, thinking, that's air element. So let's talk about the different modalities of air. So let's the first one we're gonna use is think of like think of a hurricane. Then we're gonna jump right into it. Think of a hurricane. So a hurricane esoterically would be like thinking so much, right? And thinking so much, your thoughts all over the place that you think about so much stuff you can't stop thinking, like a barrage of thinking. You see? That's why you think they call it brainstorming. When you're thinking real hard in multiple different areas all at once. So it's kind of more chaotic. And be careful because thinking too hard can lead to a headache if you don't have the right minerals physically for your brain to be developed and well oiled and sufficient. And uh, spiritually, it plays out as your higher chakra having more space and that energy flowing is not trapped in that chakra energetically. All right, so then the next one we're gonna talk about a tornado. Now, a tornado, excuse me, a tornado is special. It's interesting because a tornado is like thinking. It's got some of the qualities of the brainstorming and hurricane, but it's not as chaotic. A hurricane is more. I mean, I'm sorry. A tornado is more centered. So that's why a tornado makes a point. Like a tornado is like thinking about one particular thing, but thinking about it heavy. So you might have all kind of different thoughts, but about that one thing. So it's still relative to that space. And the more broader you think about a subject, the more bigger that tornado is. It could be like a F3, F4, F5. If you're just thinking about one topic and you're thinking a lot about it, but you just it's mainly only in like a small parameter. You're not thinking about it as broad from as many angles. It might just be like a F1, F2. You see what I'm saying? But that don't even get lost into that. But that concept of just tornadoes in general, that's like thinking. That's like a spiral. That's you thinking heavy about one thing, but in all different areas. So I'm thinking about this water bottle right now, right? I'm thinking about that water bottle, but I'm thinking about everything about it, and I'm coming up with so much knowledge just about that water bottle, though. See? So it has hurricane qualities because what does a hurricane do? It's chaotic. It's a lot of air. It's a lot of air blowing hard, but it's broad in the bigger area. You see what I'm saying? Whereas tornado was more centered. So tornado was more that's more center focused. That more focused. Tornadoes be on a focused path, and it's smaller and it's more centered and angled in one direct area at a time before it starts traveling. So a tornado is like thinking about one thing and one subject, but having the multiple different ideas in that particular subject that you're thinking about in the first place. You see what I'm saying? All right, shout out Haiti Howes. How you doing, man? What are we doing today? We talking about the spiritual meaning of the air element and what the air represents esoterically. Shout out to David Jones. He said I'm thinking about this rash. It's definitely like an F6. He said it sounds exactly like my problem. Yeah, man. That's how it is. And then when you add a sense of meditation, and you, aka that all that means is mental clarity. So that just taking the time out of your day sometimes to close your eyes and not have no thoughts at all. You do this for however long you want to do. You can start out small and build up or whatever. But this is how you add more clarity to yourself and your thoughts and your mind, so you don't be so cluttered because you can't really see that well through that storm. You can't see that well through that twist, through that tornado. So you have to add more clarity to that. You see what I'm saying? So you can be able to see more and have better thoughts you can come about throughout your day. But moving on. So with the hurricane, tornado, the next one we're gonna talk about is humid air. Humid air. So think of certain climates, like I live in Florida, right? So you know Florida is a very humid place, very filled with a lot of humidity. A lot of places in the Caribbean or Caribbean, whatever you want to call it, a lot of times they have more humidity. A lot of places that are closer to the equator, but all the way from in between, like a certain type of parameter, like from the Caribbean, Florida, even like the top of like what is it, South America, different places or whatever, they may carry out more wet qualities. You think about like the Amazon rainforest and different stuff like that. The tropical is heavy humidity. In these areas, this is air that's humid. Humid air is still thought because it's the air element, so it's still a part of thinking, but it's wetting those thoughts. And what does water represent? Esoterically, that's emotions and feelings. But since it's just humid right now and it hasn't condensed to the point where it rained yet, but this is how you get rain. This that's basically like it being a situation where you basically thinking about something, right? You thinking, and you have thoughts, but you're adding a little bit of emotion and feeling to that thought. But you're not overly having emotions and feelings towards that thought to the point where it bends in and become a rain cloud for it to actually rain. I'm telling you how things get manifested spiritually from physically, but it's still in a situation where you're adding a little bit of humidity, aka a little bit of water, a little bit of those water particles. You're dampening it up because even though you're having those thoughts and thinking that's the air, you're adding a little bit of water to it. So you may be thinking about something and think about how that play out, and maybe how that play out make you kind of think elicit a certain feeling out of you. But you're not, like I said in the other video, you're not fully jumping and harboring on the feeling and condensing it so that it can rain down. You just kind of staying light with it, but you're still kind of feeling a little bit with the thought. That's the best way to understand humid air. And the more humid it is, the more water that you add into it. Now, eventually, it will manifest and bend into it becoming rain. This is how our atmosphere is. This is why it rain a lot more in these areas because it's more humid. You see what I'm saying? And all that is spiritual though, because we all play a part in the atmosphere and how it's created and all that stuff. But that's another video, and it's the reason why the minds of people that may be in Florida is gonna be different than the minds that live in California, because California is a dry climate, and how we all manifest these things, and how the atmospheres actually affect us, and how we help produce the atmosphere. And it's the reason why it's maybe more cloudy in the area, why it rain more in the area, why the temperatures are a certain type of way in the area, why it's hotter in the area, why it's colder in the area, why it's wetter in the area, why it's drier in the area. It's an actual reason to these things, and we all play a part, as well as what situation and specific location you was born in to be in that climate in the first place, meaning you was resonate at a certain level. This is why the beings that got born in Florida a lot of times that live there versus the beings that got born in California, these are the two different spirits. Now everybody has their own similarities from point of views and spectrums, but they got born in those spaces and locations based upon how they was resonating. And if you got born like somewhere like high in New York, Connecticut, Boston, or just Philadelphia, anywhere where it's snow heavy a lot and it's mainly colder, then like New Hampshire, Maine, England, whatever, then that lets you know how your spirit was vibrating before you got born into this realm of reality to even manifest being in that space because you were spiritually in that space, in the astral realm before you got bent into this reality and you resonated with it to be born there, especially. But moving on because that could be another video. So moving on. So next, so like I said, we get hurricane, tornado, humid air. Now we're gonna talk about dry air. Dry air is just as you know, it's dry air. So it's thoughts, and a lot of times air itself already dries things out. So if it's dry air, then that means it's just a situation where it's just pure air. There's no emotion to it. There's no feeling. There's not even a feeling to it. You're not vibrating in that air. You're just having thoughts. So this could be good or bad. Everything is a yin and yang. You need both all these in different modules, modalities, and percentage levels. So think about that's like a person. Dry air is like a person. Say I'm thinking about whatever I'm thinking about, and I'm just thinking. I have the thoughts. I'm thinking, but I'm not adding no water to those thoughts at all. I'm not fully submerging myself into those thoughts for it to hone in and become a form of water, aka something that emotionally elicits me or makes me feel that. You see, like you could jump in imagination or thought sometimes, and you start honing on how that play out, and depending on what the outcome would be, it kind of can make you like feel it. You don't have to be crying around like that, but it just make you feel it, like down, like it make you feel some type of way. The dry air is not thoughts that make you feel some type of way. Dry air is just thinking. Period. It's not jumping in no emotion and feeling. It's not adding no emotion and feeling to this air. You strictly in thought of mind. There's no feeling to it at all. You see what I'm saying? That's simple. Just dry air. You know what I'm saying? And air is already dries things out anyway. The more air you add to it. Um, the next one is trapped air. Now this is like Aquarius energy. Trapped air, air that's in the tire, air that's in the bubble, air that's in a balloon. Trapped air is air that is basically is usually more correlated with yourself. That's like you thinking about. That's like thinking internally inside yourself. You're not thinking about the external world as much, right? You're not thinking about stuff that is outside of you, or thinking about other people, places, or things. You thinking about your own self and your own internal, aka things that revolve around you. So this is like revolve around the world. Like what is it? How does it go? Oh, you don't the world don't revolve around you? No, this is the world revolve around you because this is you only thinking about you. This is like more one dimensional. You thinking about your perspective and things that cater and work for you. All the negative things that may it could be occurring to you. It don't matter if you talk about positive things that are occurring to you. This is everything that deal with you. This is the air to trapped air. This is air that's in a bubble, air that's in a balloon, air that's in a tire, air that's in a trapped space. But you have to be careful because air like this gets toxic. But it don't even have to be all about yourself. It could take different shapes and forms. It could be just air, period. But this would be air that's kind of similar to the tornado or the other one where I said is you thinking about one thing, but you're not having fully encapsulated. You see what I'm saying? And truly encapsulated into only one area, and you only having one thought about that particular thing. But to be honest, it do kind of work so more so about you just thinking about yourself though, because it's the reason why the air is what do you call it? Condensed. It's trapped inside of something. So that means you're not thinking outside of that. If air is thoughts and your thoughts, and if air is thoughts and that air is inside of something trapped, then that means that those thoughts can't travel outside of that bubble. So that thought is only thinking about that particular thing, period. And this would be the best example is you think about yourself. It's like you having 1,000 thoughts about yourself, but those thoughts aren't going outside of you, so you only think about yourself. Think of the one-dimensional energy or selfish energy, looking at something from only one perspective, from your perspective. That's self. How do you say it? Selfness, selfness. You see what I'm saying? Or from a selfish point of view, but don't look at it as good or bad. Just look at these as energies. And then next we're gonna talk about that's actually the last one. The last one is cold air, and I think we out of here. I did humid air, dry air, trapped air. Oh, I gotta do cold air and hot air. I can't really write it down. So cold air. Cold air is a situation where cold air puts you in a situation where this is thoughts and feelings, but we know the cold element deals with a sense of detachment, being detached or not feeling, or being stoic or being, like I said, detached, not having the emotion and feeling either. So this is just a person that's like you thinking your thoughts and you're cold and detached. So these may be detached thoughts, detached that may be possibly away from the world. Or this is also kind of like more selfish thoughts, but it don't have to be selfish. It could be thoughts about anything that's detached from whatever you already are currently in. So this is just having thoughts that are kind of, think about Uranus energy, aka opposing something that's different. This is different thoughts, separate thoughts, because ice is separate, and that's back supported by the cold energy too. So think about something being detached. So having detached thoughts is the best way you could say cold air. Detached thoughts that don't have no emotions and feelings to them, and thoughts that may be stoic in nature. They don't have no feeling, and they're also detached. So these are colder thoughts. And people say, "Oh, cold blooded." Think of like that too. You know what I'm saying? The thoughts that basically detach you from your emotions and feelings as well, um, and from physically whatever you're thinking about in the first place, or mentally. Um, Boom. And then the last one is hot air, of course. And I already pretty much said to go out humid air, but hot air is like, that's like heat, so that's fire element. So that's like you being in a situation where you thinking and analyzing, and no matter what you're thinking about in this situation, because it's just hot air. Hot air can be encapsulated, hot air can be free. It don't matter what it is, but hot air in this general is just you thinking. That's the air. You thinking and analyzing something, but having a sense of passion to it. So you're not overly passionate to it. You're not overly heated. You're not overly angry. You're not overly passionate and aggressive and charged about it. But you do have a sense of heat to it. Whatever you're thinking about is giving you a sense of passion in life. You know what I'm saying? A sense of motivation or passion in your life, or a sense of inner heat, no matter if it's from negative spectrum of heat, inner heat, whether you talk about angerness and rage or whatever like that, or it's the positive of heat, passion, motivation, whatever. These all are still the same energies. You just have a big bubble of it. This big bubble will be that energy. There's different spectrum and modality of that energy from a higher and lower perspective, but all these things are still the same energy. You're just seeing the lowest version of it and the highest vibrator version of it. But that's how it basically plays out. And um, all these things we needed. But since we just talk about hot air and we not saying extreme fire burning or nothing like that, or flames in the air, we just talk about hot air. So that would just be you thinking and analyzing about something and adding a small amount of passion to it. Just a small amount. That's it. Not too much, just a small amount. So that way, whatever you're thinking about allows you to be slightly passionate or have a sense of a slight sense of motivation or passion for you to kind of want to get up and do something, or have a vision that makes you feel um, like you can do something. You see what I'm saying? Like you can do this. Also, a shout out to couples like, hey, thanks for telling me, man. Let me come close to the camera. But another thing is too, the fire element also deals with vision and creativity too. Really, imagination, vision and imagination. So that would be like you having thoughts that you can now see from them. You know what I'm saying? You can see those thoughts, like, aka whatever you're thinking about, you heavily adding an emphasis to vision. Cause like that's like you can have an imagination and think about it at the same time. Sometimes you have imagination and visions where you don't even fully console or thinking to them. You just have them. You just you know what I'm saying. Sometimes you just daydream. You don't necessarily be always thinking hard about what you're daydreaming about. You see what I'm saying? You might just be just seeing, just sit back, visioning and seeing in that realm. That's fire. But then when you start adding thinking and you thinking, say you start heavy thinking about that vision of how it could play out in this way and what happens if it play out in this way. That's you adding the air element to it. So that's kind of like what like hot air is. It's like you basically thinking and imagining at the same time. That's the best. That's the most simplest way I can say it. You said my sound is low. Agree. We can see our thoughts. Facts. We create the world we imagine. Yep. 100%. Yep. 100%. Hey, and with that being said, I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm glad y'all said. Much love to all y'all. I hope y'all have a great day. Hit me up in the chats in the comment section. I'll be sure to get with y'all. Um, and with that being said, y'all take it easy, man. Stay spiritually protected, stay spiritually uplifted. Continue to have spiritual strength, and we got a lot of more videos coming. Trust me. Peace.